Nikola Tesla, newly arrived from Europe, was working for Thomas Edison when he had a revelation that would forever change his approach to invention. Frustrated with Edison's trial and error methods, Tesla developed what he would call the mental laboratory, a visualization technique that allowed him to create and test inventions entirely in his mind. "Edison," said Tesla during a heated discussion, "you are wasting time and resources. There is a better way." "And what would that be?" Edison responded. "I can build and test any machine completely in my mind before touching a single tool," declared Tesla. "That's impossible, Tesla. Inventions need to be built and tested physically." Tesla explained to Edison how he developed his extraordinary technique. "As a child," Tesla recounted, "I suffered from disturbing visions that appeared involuntarily in my mind. To rid myself of these bothersome images, I developed the faculty of controlled visualization." "How so?" asked Edison, now more interested. "I learned to create voluntary mental images to replace the involuntary ones," Tesla explained. Over time, these visualizations became so vivid and detailed that they were indistinguishable from physical reality. Tesla described his exact method as documented in his autobiography. "After experiencing the desire to invent something specific, I can spend months or years with the idea in the background of my mind. Whenever I feel like it, I wander in my imagination and think about the problem without deliberate concentration. This is a period of incubation. Then follows a period of direct effort. I carefully choose the possible solutions to the problem I am considering and gradually center my mind on a narrow field of investigation. When I am deliberately thinking about the problem in its specific characteristics, I can begin to feel that I will obtain the solution. And the wonderful thing is that if I feel this way, then I know I have truly solved the problem and will obtain what I seek." "Let me demonstrate," Tesla said to Edison. "Do you have any specific technical problem?" Edison, still skeptical, mentioned a problem with efficiency in his dynamos. "We're losing too much energy in the conversion." Tesla closed his eyes and remained silent for a few minutes. Edison observed, intrigued, while Tesla seemed to be seeing something invisible. "Done," said Tesla, satisfied, opening his eyes. "The problem is in the winding configuration. I see exactly where the inefficiency is." Tesla then described in precise detail a specific modification to the dynamo design, including exact measurements and technical specifications. Tesla explained his complete process as recorded in his autobiography. "Before putting a sketch on paper, the whole idea is worked out mentally. In my mind, I change the construction, make improvements, and even operate the device. Without ever having made a drawing, I can give the measurements of all parts to the workers, and when completed, all these parts will fit together as certainly as though I had made the actual drawings. It is immaterial to me whether I run my machine in my mind or test it in my workshop. But there is something more, thoughtful," Tesla continued, "that I discovered through this practice. When I visualize with sufficient clarity, I am not just imagining, I am accessing a field of information that exists independently of my individual mind." Surprised, "What do you mean?" asked Edison. "I believe there exists a universal laboratory, a field of all possibilities that can be accessed through focused visualization. When I see an invention working perfectly in my mind, I am tuning into the already existing version of that invention in the universal field." Tesla revealed his exact process. "I sit in silence and clear my mind of all distractions. I breathe deeply and enter a state of concentrated calm. I mentally declare, I now access the universal laboratory of the mind. I clearly see the perfect solution for specific problem. I mentally construct the device or solution in complete detail. I see every screw, every wire, every component. I make the machine work in my mind. I test the device mentally. I observe how it works, identify problems, make adjustments. I continue until it works perfectly. When I feel absolute certainty that the solution is correct, I know I can build it physically with guaranteed success. Edison decided to test Tesla's suggested modification. To his amazement, the change worked exactly as Tesla had predicted, increasing the dynamo's efficiency by 15%. Impressed. "How is this possible?" asked Edison. Impressed. "Because," Tesla explained, "the human mind, when properly focused, can access information that exists beyond physical limitations. It's like tuning a radio to a specific frequency. When you find the correct frequency, you receive the signal clearly." Edison remained silent for a long moment, contemplating what he had witnessed. Finally, he spoke. "Tesla, I deeply admire your ability, but allow me to share a different perspective on the nature of invention." Edison stood and walked to a workbench filled with incandescent light bulb prototypes in various stages of development. "Do you see all these light bulbs?" said Edison, gesturing to hundreds of prototypes. "Each one represents what you would call a failure, but I call them discoveries, because through each failed attempt, I discovered a way the light bulb doesn't work. My method may seem primitive compared to yours," Edison continued, "but there is a profound wisdom in physical experimentation that the mental laboratory cannot completely capture." Edison picked up a carbonized bulb in his hands. "This bulb," he said, "is number 1247 that I tested. The first 1246 didn't work as I expected, but each failure taught me something I never could have imagined. For example, when I used carbonized bamboo fiber, I discovered it lasted 1,200 hours, something I never would have predicted mentally. When I experimented with carbonized paper filaments, I learned about unique degradation patterns that revealed fundamental principles about conductivity." "Tesla, you visualized the perfect solution," said Edison. "I discover solutions through imperfection. Each error is a teacher that reveals aspects of reality that the mind alone cannot anticipate." Edison showed Tesla a series of detailed notes. "Look here. Attempt 342, iron filament, burned out in 3 seconds but produced extraordinarily bright light. Attempt 578, cotton fiber, lasted 45 minutes and revealed a luminosity pattern that inspired my later work on fluorescent lamps." "I didn't discover 1,000 ways the light bulb doesn't work," Edison corrected his famous phrase. "I discovered 1,000 pieces of the illumination puzzle. Each failure was a disguised revelation. My method," Edison explained, "is based on a fundamental truth. Physical reality possesses layers of complexity that our imagination, however brilliant, cannot completely predict. When I build physically, matter teaches me, metal speaks to me through its resistance, glass reveals its secrets through how it behaves under heat. Electricity shows me properties that exist only in physical manifestation." Tesla listened with growing interest as Edison continued. "Your visualization is like composing a symphony mentally. My method is like learning music by playing each note on the piano. Both arrive at music, but through paths that reveal different aspects of musical truth." In that historic moment, two fundamental types of genius met face to face. Tesla represented the genius that transcends limitations through the mind. His ability to completely visualize functional inventions before building them demonstrated the power of focused consciousness to access solutions that already exist in potential. "My mind," Tesla explained, "is like a telescope pointed at the future. I see possibilities that have not yet manifested and bring them to the present through visualization." Edison represented the genius that discovers truths through physical interaction with reality. His ability to transform each failure into learning demonstrated the power of physical persistence to reveal aspects of reality inaccessible to imagination. "My workshop," Edison explained, "is like a laboratory for dialogue with the universe. I ask questions through experiments and reality answers me through results. Tesla, said Edison with genuine respect, I recognize that your method accesses a dimension of invention that mine does not reach. You see complete solutions where I see only pieces. And I recognize, Edison, Tesla replied, that your method reveals aspects of reality that my visualization cannot anticipate. You discover properties that exist only in physical manifestation. Perhaps, Edison said thoughtfully, our methods are not opposite, but complementary. You access the software of inventions, the perfect ideas that exist in potential. I discover the hardware, how these ideas behave when they encounter the resistance of physical matter. Tesla nodded. It's as if you explore the valleys of invention while I observe from the mountaintop. Both perspectives are necessary to completely map the territory. True genius, both concluded, may be the ability to honor both vision and experience, both the mental laboratory and the physical laboratory. Edison continued, my persistence through 1,000 attempts taught me that each failure is a disguised discovery. Your perfect visualization demonstrates that complete solutions already exist, waiting to be accessed. Tesla added, perhaps the supreme inventor is one who can visualize clearly and test physically, who can dream perfectly and experiment persistently. Tesla created his greatest inventions: alternating current motor, Tesla coil, remote control, wireless transmission, by first building them mentally. In 30 years using this technique, he claimed never to have had a single failure when he physically built what he had visualized. His legacy teaches us that the focused mind can access perfect solutions, that clear visualization can be more precise than physical experimentation, and that there exists a universal laboratory of possibilities accessible through directed consciousness. Edison created over 1,000 patented inventions through persistent experimentation. His incandescent light bulb, phonograph, motion picture camera, and electrical distribution system emerged from thousands of attempts that transformed each failure into learning. His legacy teaches us that physical persistence reveals truths inaccessible to imagination, that each error is a disguised discovery, and that material reality possesses layers of wisdom that can only be accessed through physical interaction. The story of Edison and Tesla reveals a profound truth about the nature of human creativity. Genius does not have a single form. If you are someone who sees solutions clearly in your mind, who has sudden insights and complete visions of future possibilities, recognize the extraordinary power of your ability. Develop your mental laboratory. Trust your visualization. Your ability to access perfect solutions through focused consciousness is a rare and powerful gift. If you are someone who learns by doing, who discovers truths through trial and error, who finds wisdom in physical persistence, recognize the extraordinary depth of your approach. Each failure is your teacher. Each experiment reveals secrets of the universe. Your ability to transform obstacles into discoveries is a sublime form of genius. Perhaps the greatest lesson is that we don't need to choose between Tesla's and Edison's methods. We can honor both vision and experience, both imagination and experimentation, both dream and construction. True mastery may lie in recognizing when to visualize clearly, like Tesla, and when to experiment persistently, like Edison. Some problems require transcendent vision, others demand earthly persistence. Wisdom lies in knowing which tool to use in each moment. What kind of genius lives in you? Are you a visionary who accesses solutions through mind, or an experimenter who discovers truth through matter? Or could you develop both capacities, building a mental laboratory like Tesla and cultivating Edison's experimental persistence? Genius does not have just one face. It manifests both in the clarity of vision and in the tenacity of experimentation, both in the capacity to dream perfectly and in the courage to fail productively. Edison and Tesla show us that there are many paths to greatness. What matters is not which path we choose, but how completely we walk it, honoring both the power of mind and the wisdom of matter, both the magic of visualization and the revelation of experimentation. Because in the end, both the mental laboratory and the physical laboratory are sacred temples where human consciousness dances with the mystery of creation, discovering truths that transform the world.